very interesting how many rallies the president has scheduled in the final days of the campaign. I think the count over the weekend was 17 rallies in 8 states. And the analysis of that is that President Trump's campaign doesn't believe that he can persuade undecideds so much as bring out his base in a larger universe of states.
Okay, let me translate. Le pregunté que el presidente Trump ha tenido mucha actividad. De hecho, la última fue en la madrugada de hoy lunes. Tuvo un meeting, un rally en Opaloca, acá en Florida, que pasó de la medianoche. Y ella me dice, ha tenido 17 rallies o mitines, congregaciones en 9 estados en las últimas semanas, en las últimas horas, perdón, y pareciera que no confían en que la confianza está en que sea el propio presidente el que pueda disuadir en estos estados. What is he aiming at, the president and his advisors, in these last hours of the campaign? ¿A dónde apuntan, le pregunto yo, el presidente y sus asesores en estas últimas horas de la campaña?
I think what he's doing is trying to bring out his most enthusiastic supporters. He is behind in the national polls, and he's behind in a number of battleground states that he must win. The math is more difficult for President Trump. He has to win every single one of the states where he's going. Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, etc.
Dice, el presidente está apelando, apuntando al entusiasmo de sus más fervientes seguidores. Y ello porque las matemáticas no le están ayudando. El presidente tiene que ganar en todos esos territorios, battlegrounds, en todos esos sitios de batalla donde él está yendo. Citó entre otros a Carolina del Norte. Today is the last day. What is his schedule for today? Hoy es el último día. ¿Cuál es su plan para hoy?
I don't have his schedule in front of me. I know that he's going to continue doing these just nonstop blitz of rallies. And in fact, I saw this morning that he has advertising up in Richmond, Virginia, which is a state that no one thinks President Trump has a chance of winning. Virginia has been going for Democratic presidents for over 10 years. But I think that there's a view here that that there isn't a lot of method to his strategy, that he is campaigning furiously. He has a lot of energy. He likes rallies. He likes connecting with his really, really enthusiastic supporters. And so he's just going to blitz the states where he knows he can fill an arena, even though the barriers to winning all of those states appear high. I mean, look, we don't know how this is going to turn out. The polls could all be wrong by just a little bit. And that's happened before in this country. But right now, the map looks very daunting for the president.
Yes. Dice el presidente, no tengo su agenda frente a mí, dice Amy, pero va a tener un día también muy, muy cargado. De hecho, va a ir incluso hasta Virginia, donde no tiene ninguna posibilidad de ganar. Es un estado demócrata. Pero el presidente confía abiertamente en el entusiasmo que él es capaz de contagiar a sus seguidores. A él le gusta estar rodeado de la gente, le gusta estar en este contexto. Y le pregunto ahora, ¿y qué nos puede decir del señor Biden? And Amy, what about Mr. Biden? Do you know his activities for today?
I do, and I can answer your question now that I had a chance to look at the schedule.
Okay.
President Trump ends today in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and that's really interesting because the polls in Michigan look very solidly for Joe Biden, and yet this is a great example of what we were just talking about, that President Trump is spending time in states where the hill he has to climb is very steep. So it's certainly true that those polls could be wrong, but they've been consistently favoring Joe Biden for a number of weeks now.
Dice que si tiene esa agenda, las matemáticas le están favoreciendo y puede tomarlo con un poco más de calma. Where is he going today, Amy? ¿A dónde va a ir?
So Joe Biden is spending the bulk of his day in western Pennsylvania. He's also going to take a quick trip across the border into Ohio. And that's interesting because that tells us that Joe Biden thinks he can expand the map. He's so confident about the battlegrounds where President Trump is spending time, North Carolina, Michigan, Wisconsin, that he's actually expanding into a state that he doesn't even need to win, and that's Ohio. Pennsylvania is interesting, though. He's spending a ton of time in Pennsylvania today, and that's because the state really has narrowed, really has become a battleground, and could be the state that decides the whole thing. I am wondering if, in the end, we see a map where all of our expectations are sort of out the window, where, you know, Trump wins states that we used to think that the Democrat had to win, like Pennsylvania, but then maybe Biden wins states that we didn't expect him to win, like Georgia or Texas. So the fact that Vice President Biden is spending so much time in Pennsylvania today and yesterday tells you that that state is narrow and it could be the place that decides the whole thing.
Dice va a estar buena parte del día en Pensilvania, en el oeste de Pensilvania, puede cruzar la frontera e ir a Ohio, y el hecho de que haya pasado, que vuelva a ir hoy y que ayer haya dedicado tanto tiempo al estado de Pensilvania, nos da una idea de lo difícil que está este estado, pero podemos estar preparados para sorpresas. Puede ganar en estados donde no estaba previsto, Texas o Georgia, por ejemplo. Es la situación que se presenta pues hoy, último día de campaña electoral.